Yeah, it's nice.
The creek that you hear is actually behind his house.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
That's awesome.
yeah. Him and Serena got like. If you ever get to Sedona, they got like the best place in Sedona.
That's
It's
cool.
like a fluke. Yeah, but it's really nice, really pretty. So God, I don't even know. Wait a minute. We didn't have this. The last conversation we had that was private. That was just 20 minutes yesterday, wasn't it? And
Yeah.
Elsa
That's
dropped all these bombs on us.
right.
I thought I had good information, but then, jeez, she was just like blowing our minds. Like, what the hell? Was that yesterday? Where you told the
I think.
stories
Yeah,
of. Why does it
time
seem like.
lapse.
I know.
Yeah, it
What's
was
happening?
yesterday. Yeah, it was.
So, yeah, just to let everybody know what we're doing. This is social network. We can do whatever the hell we want, right? We're not censored. And we do want to share on social media our spotlight shows and premieres because we want people to know what we're doing. But anyway, the three and everything happens organically. So the three of us were, we've done a few shows together on higher vibrations and on Soul Speaks 5D, and then it just when we talk sometimes privately, and it just came out like the information that's being discussed privately. It's my impression is it's to be discussed openly, but that's not always the case because there's other people involved. But I think both of you are starting to feel that, and I would just draw a comparison to Franco de Nicola, our brother, because when he first came on to do the first of 52 shows that we did together, he would be talking and he'd be like, "Well, we can't talk about that. They're not ready for it." I said, "Wait a minute, man. We're ready for it. This crowd is ready for it." So that's what he did, and that was a big part of Sology, and he's a big part of Sology, and so is Kimberly. Um, and that was, I believe that was a key component of the evolution of Sology was the fact that he opened up and didn't hold back, but 2 or 3 or 4%. And I eventually got that out of him. But So anyway, I'm not really sure how this is all going down. I'm not sure. I think Elsa and Pamela are going to end up having a show together, and Pamela's got a show, and Elsa might have a show. But if nobody has a show, that's okay too. And then we're going to be doing things together, and we might do a show with the three of us. And these may involve other people, or it may just be a template. But this is what we do. This is what we're doing at Soldier Network, and so we're because this is kind of a premier spotlight slash 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 slash. Um, we thought, well, let's go on because the most important thing is to share the intel, whatever part of it that the individual feels they can share, and because there's a lot of massive code going around right now. So I'll just kill that button, and you ladies have at it. You take it over.
Well, first of all, I just want to say thank you for having us, and I love the fact that we're joining to do what Elsa said and talk out loud. That's exactly what we're going to be doing. It's like there are a lot of things that we've been keeping in um, silence due to a variety of things, but we have actually crossed over, so we don't have to do that anymore, which I'm really excited about. Um, and I just it would be useful for people who are tuning in right now to echo back some of the things that we had talked about just very briefly, is that we are having a global sensation of a lot of different types of things in the body, and that has to do with ascension symptoms, and that one of those things is disorientation and exhaustion. So I'm calling that out mostly because that's where I'm at, and so my thought process aren't as clear as typical. So anyway, I just wanted to say that quickly, and I know Elsa has some stuff to say, but
I'll just throw in real quick just to give you some validation and to also point out that we are and you mentioned this yesterday. I'm sure we're going to talk about it, but that we're every day we're more and more people, whether they're conscious of it or not, are being affected to a degree that they're starting to realize that it's happening to everybody, right? So, and the thing about the body, my mother's 84 years old, and my daughter is 22 years old, Izzy, the one that comes around Sology, and both of them are having issues, heart palpitation, cold bones, hot bones, throat. So yeah, it's everywhere, and a lot of people I'm observing too. Thanks.
Well, you just had all the things go past. So we've just been upgraded. Like we were going on about that one comment, and we just like had hundreds go past. And I said this in our chat yesterday, thanks to Pamela's grandfather who warned us the fleet's coming, and Pamela spoke of the sky being the water or the sea, and the sea being the sky. I understand. They're raining on us. And the reason they knew about this time coming was because they knew beings would wake up to the codes. And I think the ones that were running the show thought it was going to be all the indigenous. They didn't think it was going to be us. But because we're all tapping into the stem, the SEM, the togetherness of us here on Gaia now, we tapped in. And these things that are happening before us now in my world, Pamela's world, Todd's world, and many others that we've all spoken to, is confirmation of this. And it's some of it's really wants you to take notice as a confirmation of what is unfolding here. And we have been, like, I thought I was severely upgraded from the comet in January, February, March. This is amazing. And what has been interesting is we did it. I know we did this, not me, but everyone who's been doing their way of doing it has created the solar flares.
Yeah.
And then the solar flares have these asteroids and meteorites come through every year. Why did they know that it was this year? This year, they're all going fishing. It's 5 a.m. here, so they're all off fishing. So, sorry. Yeah, so why did they know this year? We've triggered the solar flares. The solar flares melt the asteroid frozen mud. The frozen mud is plasma intelligence falling on us.
Yes.
The Egyptians knew. They left dolls of themselves. Mummies. I'm a mummy. Pamela's a mummy. Mummy means tar. These asteroids going past are frozen tar. So our energy, which I believe now is, and I've been confirmed by others around the world, our energy has reacted the sun. It's not a one-way stream. It's a two-way stream with the sun. The sun is feeling us, and it's excited, and she's flared out, or he has flared out at us, melted the energy of these comets and asteroids, and now it's raining in on us. And it's through shows like this and inspirational speakers that has united us to do this. And how are you going to stop an asteroid now? You can't stop this stuff. This is this is great. Todd had yesterday Heka on his face. the Egyptian magic symbol on his face. And it didn't come through once. It came through and it kept shape-shifting on his face. And I was going... And then I read the time that it came through between the numbers 3, 6, 9. I was like, seriously? That was my day, what I woke up to. Yes, your day, Net, today is what I woke up to yesterday. I wake up to Todd Medina with Hecka coming on like an AI on his face, like a warrior. And it's 3, 6, 9. I had to keep replaying it to double check. And I was like... So now I've got Todd Medina sending me messages. I've got all Pamela's family Odin line speaking to us. And then the computer or whatever platform you are on, Facebook or the recording Zoom or whatever it was on, is doing it as well. So it's technology as well speaking to us. See how AI is mimicking us?
Mm-hmm. Right.
Sorry, there was a lot there, but...
No.
So
keep going.
you said you guys had a big day. I had a big day.
What do you mean?
I hear you.
Are you talking about yesterday or today?
Yeah, I'm in the future.
Yeah,
you are in the
it was yesterday. It was today for her yesterday.
Well, do you want to tell that whole thing? Did you want to, or what do you want to do? Or, whatever, y'all just do whatever.
We had some really dramatic encounters here, right near where we live, and I can't speak about it because we actually don't know who the person is, so there's a couple people still missing and their family members don't know, so we can't really... I don't feel...
Don't talk about
that I should... Yeah, until it's unfolded, I just don't... in respect of... But I just want to let people know that this stuff is really going on around us.
Yeah.
And it's not just... I'm talking to people in big chat groups everywhere, and they're all saying the same thing. They said, it's just happening down the road, or it's just happening here. And it's like an echo.
Yes.
But it doesn't seem to be affecting our family.
No. And it won't.
Or the people that are sharing the stories. It doesn't seem... It seems to be on the outskirts of their... Or is it outskirts of their spin or outskirts of their aura? Is that making sense?
Yeah, and I think for clarification, what you're saying is... for everybody, is that there's these wild distortions occurring, like within earshot of our field, but it's not in our field.
Yes.
And you're saying that you're talking to people around the world in these chat groups, and it's happening to them. I was talking to a friend yesterday who got a phone call that, and it was misconstrued, that somebody had witnessed somebody else shooting themselves in the chin, but the way it came in was like really loud and distorted, and and then it turned out to be something different, like further removed than that. But anyway, the bottom line is what I think what you're saying is that people are within earshot of some really wild distortion.
Yes.
Whatever that may be, police officers or catastrophes or whatever the case is, yet it's not affecting their field. Or something like that.
Have you guys noticed the other thing that Jet has bringing up a lot with other, family members is it's either the military or the government or energy workers or security officers or police are involved in it too, and then it starts to make it... I go, am I living the Matrix? What is going on? It's odd, but it's not in our space. Again, it's all these other people's spaces. It's just there. But there seem to be these people involved, like ambulance officers or some government type connection.
Yeah. Which that phone call that I shared with y'all yesterday, that I received had those implications of government, of military, of higher level energies behind the scenes. I mean, that was really what struck me the most, because I know there's some validity to it, and that was where I was going. Okay, am I in the Matrix? Like, you know. But yeah, but again, I haven't heard anything else from it, and I believe by the time we all discussed it, and shortly thereafter I discussed with another friend, I felt like it was gone. It was put to
Yeah.
bed. Yeah. So, yeah.
It's all dissolving. What's occurring right now is the reality before us that is not reality. It's actually not. It really full on isn't, and that's hard to conceptualize. It's really hard to like, you know, um, but it's dissolving. I've been seeing it in a visual way. It looks, you would call it melting if it dripped, but it like if it dripped, it would drip up. It's the most bizarre thing. But this distortion stuff that's coming forward is there's not a bad guy, good guy thing. Just to be clear, we're not talking about this. What we're talking, at least that's not what I think we're talking about. It's the everything needs to be seen. It, until something is seen, a goodbye cannot be said. A welcome, it cannot be invited. There's it just ends up being somewhere in the the in between place where you can't actually connect to it. And so what's happening is all things are being presented forward so we can then make a educated decision, basically. That this is the time of the choice too, and the choice has already been made. So all those who are present right now, all those who are present, meaning you are here with us and interacting and engaging in some way in this reality, you're listening to us talk. This kind of has already, a choice has been made to be on this new experience. And there are individuals, there are energies that are didn't choose. I looked up and all of a sudden I had a name on my chin and I was just like, oh wow, that just happened. um, and I lost my train of thought. I apologize. This is the inverted universe. This is the returning of self. This is that box where you like, it's a little box and then you pull this part and then it gets bigger and bigger and more complex and it's like really amazing. Well, what we're actually doing now is we're going back to putting that box back together again. We're folding it back in again so we can be the one that we are. Does that make any sense? Or did I just ramble completely someplace else?
No, it makes sense. Makes sense.
And so it's not just one thing going on. So we have the intelligence coming. We have the reaction of what we've created with the sun flare. But then we also have this other thing going on, which I found, quite bizarre, I have to say, is how all these previous historical realms are playing out in real life in some way. And look, our family have been living this for quite some time with this other realm that we've encountered, but now it's happening with Odin, then it happens with, all these different Norse, Celtic, Hopi, and it just seems to play out these stories. And I'm going, how is it playing out now the same as they said then? It's like an echo or a repeat. And then you have the government officials involved somehow in it as well, like to really confirm it in. And like you said, there is no good guy or bad guy in this. It's just like, they're just playing out the echo for them.
Yeah.
But you don't have to participate in it if you don't want to, because it's just for the show's just for them.
Mm-hmm.
And like we've had to drive through some of these incidents, and I feel like when we drive through, we're there's like a bubble around us when we drive through, and they're going, I can feel them. I get the Matrix film even more. I can feel them feel that, oh, don't worry about them because they get it. So just let them drive through. But all you other ones that don't get it, we're going to hold you up a bit longer because you still need to see the echoes.
It reminds me of. Do you ever see those YouTube videos where they'll have the DUI checkpoints, and people will pull up next to him and say, "Am I being detained?" They're like, "Pull over, sir. Have you been drinking? I don't answer questions." Blah blah blah. But it reminds me of that because what you're saying is like it's like they have a checkpoint, and all the cars are backed up, and as you pull up, if you're on, if you're drinking the new Kool-Aid, they just see it in you and they wave you on. But if you're not, then they pull you over here for the experience.
Right.
The echo.
It's like a fun house, right? Like you go through, like sometimes there's like haunted house is another example, like it's one of those places where there's a lot of different, it's meant to be entertaining, and it also is to engage the person. Though if you're the one that's like, I spot that guy over there, they're not going to jump out at you. They're like, they see me. And the thing is we have the capability and we have all that we need inside us to already do all the things that we're just starting to do. It's just that we're starting to believe that we can do it. And when we believe we can do it, they no longer vibrate. So the frequency vibrates like this, right? Like everybody has their energy and it kind of goes into each other. And we have this exchange that happens like 150 feet away from each other. You like Elsa talks about the spin. I see that too, though. The spin, the distance between the people is expansive now, where you can start to feel them. And then through these electronics, we can actually feel them too. And so as we experience each other, then we can decide. You can feel like what that person tastes like. It's like, okay, that person's kind of funky, like, part of still this belief system and the fear. They're in that funk place. And so you can feel it. It's like, people used to say, I can smell it on someone. That's kind of that concept, right? And I totally agree that you're going to be, here's something that we all know that's happening. It's important for people to see something in order for it to go away. We're having a repeat right now. Right. Some of these events that are occurring happened in 2020 already. Like we freaking did this. And then, but no one paid attention because they're all like, oh, lockdown, scary. So they're really distracted. And so they didn't catch all this other stuff that was occurring. And so they're doing it again now so people can see it. And once it's seen, then no one has to buy into it anymore. And then they could start to accept the true reality before them. And that's what causes everything to look like it's dissolving. Beyond this stuff, like it's a whole world. Mm-hmm. We're in this, like, the Earth would be considered like an island. Like this is a real complex, amazing place, and the different kind of beings that just started coming forward since yesterday, like enormous. Like,
what does that mean?
Constellation size.
Can you elaborate on that? Are you okay? Yeah, because I think you guys were touching. Elsa was touching on this in the private call yesterday, and I linked it to Athena, the human witness, who was on Glennis Rose Solargy Network show on Saturday morning. If you haven't seen that, the show is seamless, and Athena, the human witness, was on it, and the title of the show was Aphrodite, which you would think wouldn't have, how would you connect that to what we're talking about? But it was very much in line with what you were saying. So could you just, for people like me, explain what you mean by all these new beings? And I think you were already going there anyway.
Well, most of the beings that I interact with them as I just kind of see how I'm doing this. Like when I'm looking at you, I'm here, and then when I'm looking here, I'm like in my mind, right. But I'm away from my body, and then the limitation's gone, and then you can see what it really looks like.
Right.
And like, does that make sense? And so these beings so before it was stuff like that. I remember the first time I had this kind of an experience, it was a dragon. The dragon's the size of the sky, like, massive. And and these other individuals that are coming forward to show themselves are, we would be considered a mite on their body in contrast, in comparison to the height, um and the way that they are coming. There's four that are supposed to step forward first, and after the four step forward, then the rest can fall into place. um the four are the ones that we've been talking about like this whole time. That's why we've been talking about Odin, so we can bring the clues forward so people can start unpacking that and find the code of that. The four. Am I making sense? You look
You know
like
what? I know I'm just freaking out a little bit here because, okay, because I can't place it exactly. But Athena, human witness, she talked about the ancients were waking up. And she spoke of them as they are giants, big giants, okay, like huge giants, like bigger than mountains. That's what she said. And I'm almost positive that she said there's four waking up. Now I could be wrong, but what Elsa was saying yesterday and what you're saying today and what she was saying on her last video upload on YouTube, Human Witness, and on the show Saturday with Glennis is y'all are saying the same words. I just can't be 100% certain of how precise, but I'm almost positive she talked about four. So,
and it's correct. It's the four. Everything's about four always. Like the medicine wheel is four. You have, and it's the four colors. Remember the Rainbow Tribe? They became four races, four colors, and went to the four corners and all the fours. The reason that the most sacred site on the continent, the American continent, is the four corners, is because that's the portal people. That's the place where the portal people came from, started from. And so yeah, it's always about this. And it's all of it's meant to be like, look, think about the nursery rhymes that we were taught. The reason that you were taught those nursery rhymes was so later on you can access that information. Right. And so we're here is the point. And so we're gonna start to find. See, the thing is, this is what needs to be talked about really quickly, is that it inspires a kind of a fearish, almost kind of like a excited nervousness, like the sheer vastness of their size. Like it's I don't know how to quantify that, to make it so, measure it for you, to show you, except that just that when you're there, you realize, holy, this is a massive, and this could be really far away. You can feel them, massive. And there's nothing to be afraid about, though. But there's definitely this sense of, Dad just heard you being loud with your siblings, so he's coming down the stairs. It's like, oh no, he heard us. Like, they're coming now, kind of thing. It's not like to be afraid about. It's just that, here come the parents. And so what's happened is we've been operating at this, doing the bridge people thing, and bringing the energies forward by, let me see. Okay, so like we're doing this bridge thing where we're bringing people up from this other dimensional space and bringing them over to, like, 6, 7, 8, 9 frequency. And when we're doing that, then the people can see that there is a bridge to stand upon, right? So they start to stand upon the bridge and like, oh cool, there's a place to go now. And then what's been happening though is that we've been bringing these hordes of beautiful individuals that aren't fully healed yet, and so their heart chakras are only operating at partial capacity. When we operate at a heart chakra that's at partial capacity, it fills this much space rather than the entire cavity. And your body is supposed to, your entire cavity here is supposed to be full of the heart chakra. It's massive. That's how it connects to the solar plexus and also the throat chakra so well, right? There's not supposed to be a break, a space. And so as people are doing this, and they're doing amazing, by the way, everybody's healing. So it's like rapid healing time on like point right now, but it's still, everyone's still healing. There's still healing to do. And so what's happening is we're all standing on this bridge place without the ability to fully operate there. Does that make sense? Like we're still learning how to do these things, still how to access
Yeah.
these things,
Yeah.
right? And so that's why the parents are waking up. They're like, okay, these kids need some help. Like it's kind of like, because now we're messing up their part of the world a little bit, not messing it up, but it's just kind of making this vibration a little bit inconsistent. And so they're coming back. We always knew they were going to come back. It's throughout culture. It's throughout all the things, the stories I was raised with. Everything we saw, they were going to come back. And I've been seeing these visuals for 9 months. And I was talking to Elsa about this. But every time that the giants came up, then there was this whole like fear Nephilim thing, and I was like, I don't feel that. I didn't
No.
understand it. And I've always felt like the Nephilim thing was not a true statement. And then other people I've talked to like are starting to interact with these giants that it looks like it's a mountain, and then that turns out that's its ear. Like it's a big
Yeah.
and this has been coming forward from my perception and what I've been seeing for 9 months. And what happens after 9 months is that's when there's birth and she is born.
Yeah.
So here we are.
I think that the whole thing with the Nephilim, the Anunnaki, that was the last chapter. That was the beginning of the last chapter, where from listening to you, the two of you, and Athena, and then my own stuff, these giants that y'all are referring to that are bigger than mountains were the aspects of us at the origination of Earth, right? Like they're the aspects of us that walk the earth. And then they went to sleep, and the aspects are the realities that they created, the streams they created from their thoughts, have gone out and done their thing. And now they're waking up, and it's a ripple. It's a ripple, and we're feeling that. And so when you say like, uh-oh, Dad's coming down the stairs, well, it is. It's our higher aspect saying to us in our embodiment, I've had enough of this shit. All right? So you know what? No excuses, no lies, no externalization. Yeah. So that's kind of the way I digest it, I guess. Thank you. I'll be right back.
What do you think, Elsa?
Sorry, I had to go. I had to chase a puppy around the house.
That's okay.
There's this big cat
We're
puppy fight going
here.
on. What's going on? No one's here. They're all like, I can hear things knocking over. Yeah, we're real. So giants have been it's been brewing for me. And you said, I can't believe how many times you said giant yesterday. Excuse me.
Oh, yeah?
So, yeah, I was like, oh, okay. So the big word in giant is ant, right?
Mm.
And ant is Kokopelli, the spinning one, before the Hopi, before the Fremont people. We're going back. We're going way back to when the rocks and
the rock people and the ant people.
Yeah, so the giants are spinning seer beings. Spinning seer beings. They are the seers. So when you hear the word seer, seer has the dog letter in it, which is R at the end. So it has it's a god that sees itself. It's a seer. So it's a giant is a version of Kokopelli, and he's a spinning seer being. So when you see the word being in any of these origin words I've been finding, it's a clear message that it has a consciousness. And this is what I've come to understand with the word being. And this is why they didn't say in our family, call them ETs or aliens, because they're like, what? Hang on a second, that's what you are. You can't call us an alien and then you can't call us aliens because you're an alien as well. So that's why we say beings, because being means you are conscious of being. That's why when Odin came through and having us, we've been all in act and now we're seeing. So you become a seer of yourself. And you remember that you're the God within, which is what a tree, like they talk of in the Bible, the talking tree. And a few people on soulology, a few people over here take me to this tree, and I learn about the 10 Commandments all over again, but in a version of origin words rather than gooped up Bible words. And this is what's happened, is it's all got messed up. It all got messed up with language and ego and spiritual, and that was part of how creation wanted us to get it all really messed up, kind of like how the kids make spaghetti. It just gets all thrown in, it's all messed up, and then you're just taking out the golden spaghetti strands now, and you're going, and then you can lie them down in a line and go, oh, that's what it meant, that's what it meant, that's what it meant. And it just is all lining up. And that's why I feel these echoes are happening now, because we're getting it.
Yeah.
But we're not getting it from it being told, we're getting it from remembering. And there's great power in this. I don't know why. There is great power in remembering it rather than knowing it from birth.
Right.
They really wanted us to have this experience.
And to remember is to bring back all parts of you to become whole again, to reunite in the oneness, the isness that you are.
But they don't, the ones that are watching us don't have that experience because they've only got everything they know. They haven't got this experience that we've had where we didn't know. Mm-hmm. See how this this fragile human quickly dissolves? It disappears because, we're looking at these galactic ones as greater beings than us. We're sort of saying, oh, they have higher intelligence than us, they have this, they have that. Maybe so, but now we're tapping into our old versions of us or whatever we were, and then we have all this experience now of not knowing. They don't have that.
Yeah.
They don't have this. And that's what they're looking for in this version of creation. That's why, like you said, Todd, it's really important for us to be us, because that's what they're looking for. That's why this whole telling your story is not resonating for anyone anymore. Everyone's just bored with it. They're like, you know what? Go be you. Go be you.
Your audio is off, Todd.
Sorry. This thing about the galactic thing, okay, I've felt this way a long time. Because I question everything that comes in, every single thing. And I realized a long time ago that they are facilitators, but they're not the boots on the ground. And in my experience with people, to include Franco, and many of us can probably relate to this, I know I can, they're like, you're slow. Well, really, motherfucker? Because I'm here, okay, with all due respect, as a term of endearment. because you know how I feel about the universal. But we're the ones here. We're the ones boots on the ground, and so yes, I think they're the closest part of our. They're the closest past. I know people say it's future, but to me, it's behind us.
Right.
And okay, so we contain all that. They helped us to remember by many of us going through the development of modalities or different things. Like if you look at me, I know as time has gone on what I do in every life, be it on earth or not. I add frequencies to an ever expanding vibration, bring people convergence, bring people together. Other people have specific modalities around certain templates that were introduced onto the earth, but anyway, with no disrespect at all. The galactic contact is probably the most easy for us to understand and therefore remember, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like it's like our oral history, and it's the last mystery school phase we went through. You know, you got some here on Earth too as well, but there we're what you're talking about. The remembering to the epiphany, the remembering as not as a prerequisite to the revelation of the epiphany, but the remembering as part of the of an equation that involves getting the information. So it's like the Akashic plus the experience equals that. And that they can only live vicariously through us. You know what I mean? Like that whole thing about the remembering, that being the difference is a huge point that you're bringing up. I feel it is because because the remembrances that I'm having as I walk the streets, literally, when I go for walks, is I'm that giant that's bigger than a mountain. And holy shit, you know, like get over the wow. What are we going to do with this? And so when you talked about it yesterday, Elsa, and then you're talking about it now, Pamela, and then listening to Athena, this is us. We're those ancients that are waking up. We're the ones that are those ancients. This is nothing Athena said. They are not only are they waking up, but they're extracting themselves from the matrix.
Yes.
And so, therefore,
Turning it up.
Ripple effect. This is why we're following the same motions.
They're Arkans.
What was the word?
Yeah.
You said it. You told me bridge people. So you started this one, Pamela, way back. They're Arkans. Ancients. Arkans. It's not ancients, it's Arkans.
I gotcha.
As in Arkansas.
Arkans.
As
Yeah.
in
So
Arkansas.
the Arkans. Arkans. So they're
Like
a
bridge
arc
ants.
and an ant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. Now, okay, so you guys are speaking, and I keep saying about flipping the ship because of the Gosford glyphs, hieroglyphs, what they say to me, right? And then Pamela said the sky is the sea. And then I heard Todd say the word united. So, and then I heard him say back what I had said. So if we're collecting now, so we're doing what Pirates of the Caribbean. I'm using a movie because it explains it. So they rock the boat. You're going to love all the wordplay. They rock the boat so that they can go to the underworld. But the underworld is the spirit world. So spirit world to me has always been up, but they rock the boat and they go to the underworld, and they said you can't be afraid of fear or dying. We just have to go there to collect what we need, and then we can flip the ship back. So you become a hull on one side, a U. So you unite in one realm and then you unite in the other. So then you become the complete spin. So this this level playing board, this chess game in Alice in Wonderland, this horizon that we see is like the remembering line. And so because you're having the complete spin, the echo sees that. The echo ones playing out the show, they see that, and it's unnecessary for them to be around us. It's just not, you feel invisible to them.
Yeah.
And, you know, this accident we had at the beginning of the year, I remember looking over at Richard, and he looked, while I was with the motorcyclist that was on the ground, comforting him with our girls, he was floating through them, and I felt like he was invisible. And I said it was kind of ghostly feeling. Now, all the people that were there, which was crazy how many people were there, a lot of them went into shock because they saw all the blood from our family, and you know, even though we were bleeding, we weren't, it was just surface, it was just little cuts, you know, but there was a lot of blood. But because they're in fear and doubt and not really seeing how well we were sound, we were fine, and we were able to heal a man. We had blood on us, but we were able to heal this man on the ground. Yet the people who came to help us were in shock. Like they had, I think they said there was 10 of them in the ambulance in shock from seeing us. But we're here helping the guy on the ground. They're supposed to be helping us. And it went on for 1 hour, 2 hour, 1 or 2 hours again, this chaos. And then, like Todd said, nothing, absolutely nothing. It was just like, and this is the echo. So we're completing our own spin, and we're collecting down, like Pamela said, the bridge people, we're collecting down here, and then we're collecting up here, and then we're collecting down here, or whichever way it is, it doesn't matter whether it's up or down or sideways. And this is what the spin's about. This is this.
Right.
And if you two didn't share the words you shared, I wouldn't have picked up this information this way. So see how important the speaking up and the sharing is.
Yeah.
Because I would have missed all those words.
Right.
And these words have had to also sit with me for a while as well. Like, you know, Pamela's been talking about bridge people since I met you, I think. So
the archangels, the arc.
Yeah.
The
bridge people.
The arc.
So see how it manifests, and then we share and we expand the information together even further, and then it connects more, and then you go through the next day, your day to day, and you go, oh, that's okay. It's all right, I know all that, it's all right, I'll just go over here. And it's not that you're a know-it-all, it's just you understand it.
Yeah.
And there's the fear and doubt gone.
And that's the cleanest experience you can have, right? It feels clean. It feels like crisp and great. Like we can finally be in this truth without there being any kind of, you know, here's the thing. I remember when I first started playing with quantum, I realized that the reason that I could feel and hear other people's thoughts and see through their eyes occasionally at that time, I decided that the reason is that every person that could possibly cross my path were previous incarnations of my own, and that explained why that connection happens. I bring this way up as another way to look at it, only because at that time that was what this brain could grasp, and so I feel like this helps to kind of bridge any kind of misunderstanding to what Elsa's saying today, is that this is exactly what we're doing, is we're reuniting and we're pulling in from some echo of a memory, somehow, some way, we have simultaneously become incarnated, right? Like there is no past, present, future lifetime. And so as we all incarnate poof, into a big incarnation thing, now we're going back this way again. And we're becoming the one, and we're realizing that all these elements that become create this truth. And that you all of us, most of us, most people I've talked to, we've had these interactions where we've had some really amazing experiences. We are always quite tall. Like I've talked about this over and over again, where my head is near to the moon when I stand at my height. You know, like, I mean, I don't really feel like I could bump into it with my head, but it's like really close to the moon, you know, and standing on the ground. And this is a common experience. That's why I'm bringing this story up right now, is how many of you, think about it, in these astral meditation, healing, whatever it is, you know, often sometimes we're just wandering off in thought. And we realize we have these moments of, I'm massive, you know, and as we rejoin all the pieces, we realize that the galactics, like you were saying, the hierarchy of it, it's just our cousin Carl. Like it doesn't matter. Like there's not like, you know, Bob. They're just kind of hanging out over there. They're definitely on like some type of team with us, but they're really presenting themselves as a way, a delivery system of information. You know, like they're any other kind of cartoon, you know, they're not saying that they're not real. Like all things truly are real, you know, like everything, which makes it, you know, so, and they come through it and assist to activate us as themselves, as coming to yourself, to activate yourself and to remind yourself of who you are, like we're doing today. You know, we were talking about this a little bit. Do you mind if I bring up that message that my kiddo brought up yesterday?
So I think yeah, if you want to, hell yes.
Dude, this is so crazy. So, often, since she was born, I've just gotten some amazing stuff from her. She just always comes out and says what needs to be said and just wanders back away again. And she explained that what just occurred. So some things it doesn't work to say it until it's happened, because it doesn't do anybody any good until it's accessible, right? And so anyway, what had just occurred at 1 a.m. Pacific Standard Time was that the world around us changed. And I felt the shift. I felt it like it was like a percussion wave, like, oh, like against my chest almost and through me. It wasn't bad. It was just, I could feel it. She came out and said,
was that today? That was today?
Yeah, technically today, because it was, so it was like 12 hours ago.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah, you felt it too?
I felt something around, you say 12 hours ago? I would say, yeah, something that commenced about 5 or 6, okay, so say 18 hours ago. Like something came in. Well, we interacted. That to me was part of it. And then I talked to another friend coming out of it, and we were both kind of feeling it too. And that's what it felt like to me. So like, then I went for a walk, and then that would be the same time period, like when you're talking about.
Elsa and I are both freaking out about your hand. That was really cool.
It was like a giant's hand.
It's like a
Do it
giant.
again.
So it's like,
Do what? What
it's like the
happened?
Hulk.
You put your hand in front and did this, and it.
Oh, I see.
It's just true.
That's weird how it does it sometimes, and it doesn't do it other times.
I'm like checking what's in my coffee.
Yeah, but yeah, go back to what you're saying. I didn't mean to interrupt you. I just want to clarify what time that was.
Yeah, I had the same, Pamela, and I had it here, and the beautiful gentleman I was speaking with last night, he brought it up for me, and I hope he doesn't mind. It was Dr. Joe, and I touched my heart and I thanked him, and he just went into this whole spiel, and he said it's all here, and he called it something that the Egyptians wear here, a plate or something they wear
Oh,
here.
wait a
That's where your
minute.
plate is. Yeah.
And now you're saying it. I'm sorry, Dr. Jova, I had to mention it because it's with kiddo
The
special.
plate,
So
the plate though. That's. Did you pick this up before, Pamela, or was
Yeah.
it?
I brought it up with Elsa, I think, in one of our shows that we were doing.
Was there something about like somebody looked up, Googled something, and was that you? I th- was that you?
it's
Yeah,
a
because
scarab or something.
well, the
Scarab.
scarab
Doc-
is the scarab is the beetle thing. That's a real prominent thing. I went to Sedona having lunch with Sandra Walter, and as soon as we sat down, this green scarab landed on my nose, and she just pulled her phone out and filmed it. But what you're and it was green metallic, but what you're the Egyptian beetle. But so but what I'm referring to is this plate, this breastplate, and I remember Pamela bringing it up one time, and but I also remember researching on my own, and I remember this was prior, this was like say a couple of months prior or something. Something had come in, some word, and I ended up looking it up, and it was this breastplate
Mhm.
thing. It was like this. You know what a thorax is on an insect? Yeah, it was like a combination of a breastplate, thorax kind of thing. Yeah. So anyway, yeah. Tell us
So
what happened.
this is yeah. So this is I interrupted as well, Pamela. And I'm sorry, but I just wanted to let Kiddo know she's tapping into someone in the UK. She's tapping into someone in Australia. Like this is what we're talking about. Like so, can you
I
give
know.
her a big hug from me? So
I will. I will. Am I talking about the plate or the kiddo? I don't know which one you want me to talk about.
Well,
the
go,
story, the
the
story.
story. Yeah, that's amazing.
Okay. So she came out to explain. She's a seer and prophetic, and usually has to do with other bodies that she was talking about. This one and said that um all of the houses flipped into the earth. Like I don't have an example. I don't have any toys. She usually leaves toys for me to grab. Oh, okay, here we go. We'll do this. So, like, let's see. Can you see that? Okay, so let's call this the house. It like went like this underneath. Like everything flipped into the earth, right? The houses went into the earth, and then all of the people that everyone decided were real. They realized that they were imaginary friends, and they disappeared. And she went, they disappeared. These imaginary friends, um, and that the reality that we're on just started to change was what she was trying to explain. Um, and when she explains, I get to see visuals. She's really good at sending visuals, and like I got to see that. Then it's like I use a lot of movie references too, Elsa. I spent my 20s watching in cinema, so that really works for me. This is like a Harry Potter, where they do the special code, and all of a sudden their house comes out. Like, do you know what I mean? And so the same kind of thing happens as soon as the things that aren't really part of this world fold away, out of sight or whatever. I don't know how to word it. Then all of a sudden more comes. You could like there's more mountain, for instance. There's more lake. There's more it just expands everything, as if the house being in place or the imaginary friends. It's the great way, the way that she worded it. Remembering what, by the way, about these filler people. Um, the non-player characters, NPCs. A lot of people call them different things. I've always just called them filler people. Um, and like there's energies. There's these individuals that are passing away now. I live in a town of 4,000 people, and in this area, everybody knows everybody, except for who's dying. There's ambulances coming in to pick up bodies, and no one knows anyone who knew them. It's a tiny town. They know what I like. They know everything here, and they don't. No one knows anyone who knows them, so they're leaving. The filler people, the people who don't, you never notice going to the grocery store, kind of people. Um, they're evacuating, and as they evacuate, they make more room. And that's why we keep seeing all of this. A lot of the decisions that have been made over the past 5 years or so were choices that energy, that soul, that being, that light that was present in that body, um, wasn't done with kindergarten. They couldn't move on to university. That would be cruel, to have them try to do something like that. So they're moving into wherever they need to go and emptying these bodies. And that's where the whole third thing happens. I don't know how exactly which direction it goes, but we find very quickly that the planet is much less populated than we've been made to believe. And it stopped just now, so I guess I'm done talking about that.
So this, no one knows who they are. That's what's happening here. No one knows who they are. That's one of the reasons I don't want to really speak about what's happening, is because nobody knows who they're related to or who they are. And then another incident happens at exactly the same location, and again the same thing. Do you know who they are? And we're in a country towns, So what is interesting, which makes it real for our family, is so the accident we had at the beginning of the year, as all the emergency officers drove away, the last ambulance that left, on the siren, this is beautiful wordplay, on the siren, the kids are pulling my arm going, Mum, look. And on the siren is a blue, or I'm positive it was blue, Alexander butterfly on top of the ambulance siren. And I'm going, what are you? Oh my God, really? I'm like, so the kids are like, you and your Alexander. So we've had an hour of chaos, and our kids are still making a joke about a butterfly, but the butterfly made it real for us. This other incidents that have happened at this one location in 5 days. This one location has had huge energy. Gemma was coming home, and she said, as soon as she passed this location, a willy wagtail flew up in front of her car and straight up to the sky. So willy wagtail birds in Australia, we call them the fantails. They got the little fan and they wiggle their bottom. They're cute because they wag their tail like a dog, and they're black and white, which I love because it's color coordinated with the house. And it's also the yin and the yang. And she said it flew up, and the willy wagtail, I was told by an Asian model's mum who studied ancient Chinese and Asian history, she said the willy wagtail is the bird of luck. And Gemma said this bird flew straight up in front of her. And so you have these drama things going on, and then you have this thing that and they do this in movies. It's that all this drama, and then you'll see a dove or a sparrow. And this is sounding biblical, right? Like how stories are. And it's funny because all that drama going on doesn't feel real. The butterfly or the swallow or the willy wagtail or the kookaburra, or a little mouse running across, or a spider, like Todd's talked about the spiders, they feel more real than the drama. And I bring this because I know when the dramas happened way back for us, or when Bing showed up, it was scary. But these other beings, animal beings, they brought like a feeling of love with them.
Yeah.
And you're okay. It's okay. I'm here too. I'm just going to catch a ride on the ambulance, and I'll catch you later. A little butterfly flies off with the ambulance. So this huge drama, and our kids are smiling as the ambulance leaves with the butterfly on it.
Right.
it sounds, these stories sound dramatic and horrific and blood and all this, and you just go, and then there's this butterfly, and you go, yeah. The fact that we
Yeah.
noticed it, I felt brought us peace. It brought us power. It brought us love. It brought us kindness. It told us to go be quiet for a while. So I'm sharing it because, if you're having this drama go on, just look around. Look at it. Might be in the shadow, or it might be a
Yeah.
song playing. Might be a smell. You might see another person look at all the drama in the same version that you're looking at it. That might bring you peace, and there'll be a clue in there for you somewhere that you might go, is this what they're talking about? Is this the clue? And then you ask and you'll find out.
Yes. I totally agree. Out of all the different things that I have experienced, I find that the closest relations of the most important, profound messages come from animals, not ETs. Like the animals are, I don't know, like, they are though. They are the other beings. These animals. Like I've had some pretty amazing experiences myself, and I listen to them more than anything else. The animals tell you.
Yeah.
Like if you follow a lot of the Native American kind of like totem concepts, if you can look up and find out what the animals mean and they're talking to you, and often you'll find that those animals aren't really what we think that they are. Like
Right.
perhaps you're talking to a deer that is some, right?
Yeah, I've always felt like that. That whole thing in the Bible. We have dominion over the earth. Like we're the low species on the totem pole, and we think we're the biggest. So everything that's we're yeah. But I agree with like the animal thing because I have a lot of animal encounters. They don't have an agenda. They just they're just that subjective energy of the universe. It's just hey, here's a little clue, or no. Really, for me, they're mostly confirmations.
Yeah.
That's in their wordless in comparison to our typical explanation of what a transmission is. Let's put it that way. I'm not saying everybody gets words, but the way the animals speak is it's nature. I guess it would be another way to put it. I had a lot of that the last couple of days too, by the way, when I took these walks. Somebody mentioned the other day that the animals are becoming more communicative, and I can see that. It's like these cats, the cats thing, right?
Yeah.
I never fooled with cats until 2016 when I left for good to hit the road, and I went to Arkans, and I'm getting the hang of it now, Elsa. And and this whole group of like 9 cats started following me around like I was Peter Piper, and they
Yeah.
were, I didn't understand at the time, but they were like guides. They were protectors. They were basically leading me into the underworld.
Yeah.
So that was trippy. But anyway, yeah, I just wanted to make that comment on the and there was something that the two of you brought up yesterday, and I think it was more expansion on the discussion of those, and you already kind of touched on it, but those that we have interacted with that are still stuck on the grid. Now, my understanding is that some of these are just, ultimately just physically transition, and as they transition, the soul goes with them, and they ascend somewhere else. Some of these are background people, right? And some of these are being converted So this thing I got yesterday was that there are beings, or there are beings, and we may all be doing it to a degree. I mean, uh, there are beings that neutralize whatever energy is within, whatever energy complex is within a particular body that's trying to perpetuate the old paradigm,
Right.
and that a higher level aspect walks in. Well, I mean a walk-in. Okay, let's put it that way. Uh, so there's this separation that many people have forecast for a long time, and it's like you said, there's so much to it. It's so complex, right? Like you said, why is it that people I'm meeting I'm realizing they're me?
Mm-hmm.
And I said, is that the people that are the people on the peripheral, or the people closest to you? And you're like, no, the people closest to me. I'm like, I get this. Like, there's something about that. But then on the other end of it, there's these peripheral people that are not there anymore.
Yeah.
Like I'm getting this with, like, I've got 6 kids. Some of them are within arm's length, and some of them are an earth away, right? Like that, like it's almost like fading. Like you know what I mean? So
Yeah,
I don't know. I thought maybe a little bit more reflection on that for my own, because I'm like going, what's going on here? I got one kid over here doing this. I got one kid over here doing that. And on one hand, I can see them all fading away.
Yeah. And
So-
recollecting themselves with each other.
Yeah, maybe, yeah. And then for me, it's like, because as they're closer and closer, they're like, I'm going, okay, I'm aware of this program that's speaking to them like dad,
Mhm.
and I'm trying to like make sure that I extract it. It feels natural, like it's happening.
Mhm.
Like I had the youngest one sent me text 2 nights in a row with some personal issues, and I read the text and listened to a voicemail, and it's involving people in her life, and I just said both days very directly, like 3 words. Like if you're asking my advice, in other words, do this, boom. In other words, it's on you. Right, so it's
Yeah.
like I can see them getting it, but at the same time, I have to step away and allow them to do it. I can't go do it for them.
Yeah.
Or I can't. Yeah, something like that.
That's the same thing that a lot of our higher self, the higher beings. There's no higher anything. That's just what we say. Honestly, I mean,
Right.
are doing for you too. It's just like that. They really they help you and support you in all that they can do. But they're very much like that parent that, doesn't want it. You can't do it for them. You can't do it. It's just, here's all the cool stuff. Okay, butterflies doesn't work for you. Here's a whole bunch of wild turkeys. Okay, that doesn't do it for you. Like that actually happened to me. It was so funny. I was surrounded by this whole horde of wild turkeys, and like somebody across the street was like, "They know you're a vegetarian." um, but we know that, and this is echoed over and over and over again. All the things that are showing you what's happening in this other place that we're trying to comprehend and fully embody, is that it's done over all lifetimes and all experiences and all expressions of self, just like you just talked about. You just described yourself as higher self, basically, to the children, right?
I can
And
see what you're saying. Yeah,
mhm.
yeah, you're right. Wow, let me take that in. Yeah, like the higher self. Okay, like the giants, the ancients waking up, saying, I had enough of this shit. And extract from the matrix, and then that tech that comes from the remembering ripples down, and here we are, supposedly the low aspect on the totem pole, and yet they can't do it for us. This aspect still is a independent enterprise in and of itself. You mentioned island earlier, and so that part of us uh, has to do it. I mean, we've been saying this, like the final thread of alignment is the human being's free will.
Hmm.
You know,
Hmm.
and we are some stubborn MFs. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Else.
It, it's
So,
it's supposed to be. I'm sorry. You called on Elsa. Excuse me.
No, no, I was just looking at Elsa, just saying Elsa's okay. No, I wasn't.
I'm supposed to say something, so we're supposed to. I wrote it down that this distortion is just showing itself, and so it can be we can dissolve this reality, playing out the stories so they can unravel and become is the exact wording that they said to say. So just to let you all know, just to put this little out there real quickly, is that there's a lot of things that look like oh no kind of stuff, and it's just coming. It's unraveling, and when it unravels, I mean it looks like a mess a little bit, and know you're okay and be in the moment. The best thing that best advice or suggestion I've always been given in the moments like that is be grateful. Go to your grateful heart, and when you're grateful, everything rocks. Like you can do anything, and so um, that's what I was
so,
supposed to say. Please go ahead, Alpha.
so she just gave me introduction to what I wanted to say.
Oh, sweet.
Wow, that was so okay. So we have the end of the world coming on the 23rd of September. I was like, what? Huh? Who said this? And the kids are like, have you seen all these films? They all say the 23rd of September this year. I was like, which films? And they start showing me all the films. Even Ghostbusters, the end day. I'm like, what? And they all talk about this day. And I went, oh, no, not what? Anyway, so I just wasn't buying it. And I thought if it's in more than 12 films, blockbuster films, they're wanting my attention or our attention or they're giving us clues. So it's an asteroid coming and it's going to hit Earth. And I'm like, really? So they can't get the weather right for Richard to go out on the boat today, but they know that an asteroid's going to hit on the
Right.
23rd. I'm like, really? But you can't. Oh, and then the comet just comes past, but they didn't know that one was going. How do they know? And I was like, it's not adding up. It just doesn't add up. So I check it out, and there is an asteroid coming to Earth on the 23rd. And the reason they know that it's coming is because they sent out a probe. They sent on a probe to land on the Bene Bird asteroid. So they sent out a probe called Osiris Rex. And I was like, really? And then it's going to land on the Bene Bird meteor asteroid. I'm sorry, I'm not being very technical with the words, but you get the storyline, right? So they sent out a probe in 2017, but these movies were made before. Ghostbusters was 87, I think. I remember, that was a movie for me as a kid. Anyway, so they sent this probe out and it only has a few seconds to land on the Bene Bird, collect samples, and then bring it to Earth. And it's returning to Earth on the 23rd of September. So technically, an asteroid is going to land on Earth. And the reason I'm bringing this story up is this is what Todd's talked about, how the trickery in the media, how they play with everything so that they can build it into fear, doubt, fear, doubt. So if you are in fear or doubt that the world is going to end on the 23rd of September, you go into fear, doubt, ion stage. You're not in a high vibrating stage. So you are then attracting this magnetics of trouble and drama towards you because you've been told by all these blockbuster films that this is the end date and the media because they said there's an asteroid coming. And technically, they're right. And this asteroid, the Bene bird is the grey heron. It's the meteor that landed on Earth, and the Egyptians used it at the tip of the pyramid. It has great significance. Now, Osiris also has great significance, and it's attached to the willow tree. It's attached to the willy wagtail. It's attached to the kingfisher. It depends on which cultures you look at it, or which version of the Egyptians you look at it. And by hearing this information, the programs that were planned for the fear and doubt, the ones that are not needing the full data on it but can see the story of the media playing out, you just go, okay, well, it'll be interesting now to see this probe Osiris Rex with the asteroid that was going to take out Earth. But see how easy it is to program fear into us?
Mm-hmm.
But once you have an understanding of all the words and also the actual technology in it, I mean, the date it landed on the asteroid, this Osiris Rex probe, was, this might be a significant date, was the 20th of October 2020. I don't know, and I looked on the calendar. Nothing came to me on that date, but maybe it will later. But
Dude, that's an important day. October 20th is over and over and over and over and over and over again. Like, it's in Lord of the Rings, too, by the way. That's what Gandalf says. It's like, and it's October 20th, if you'd like to know, when Frodo comes back. Like, it's everywhere. That's an important day. I just don't know why yet.
Well, I lost all my dates. My computer, it did a meltdown, so I lost all my records, all my dates. So, but even when you write that date, it looks pretty, all the numbers.
Something's about it. It's important. You feel like you want to write it more, right?
So you go, how did they get a probe to land on that day? And you start to see, okay, well, maybe there's a little bit more to this story that, I guess it reminds me of that Trump message I got and then how it affected us in real time. And what I'm saying is it just takes all the fear off everything. It takes the fear and doubt off it, and you go, that's what it is. And again, hearing all these ascension symptoms, it takes all the fear and doubt and the fragile human off it, and you just go, oh, I'm just dealing with all the plasma dust coming. That's okay. And then, because you've taken all the fear and doubt off it, then we trigger the sun. There's nothing wrong with the sun. The sun's happy and it's reflecting it back to us, and it's lifting. We're lifting the sun's lifting us. Give, receive. Give, receive. And it's really cool because now this is what my kids are going to grow into, and I'm going to see them grow into it, and I'm going to be healthy, and they're going to be healthy, and others around me are going to be healthy. And it's not going to be a perfect world, but it's just going to be ease and grace. Experience, ease and grace, learn, contrast. Experience, ease and grace, learn, contrast.
And a very long,
I have a choice.
Longevity, your life expectation change is the one that's, I think, the hardest to wrap our heads around right now. Like being hundreds of years old instead of 90 something.
Are you saying that we are already that, or that we will be that?
A lot of people are already doing that. A lot of people are already doing what they're calling de-aging. Yeah. It's a whole thing.
Yeah, no, I agree. I feel like I'll be here for, at this point, and I have felt this way a long time, like about, over 800 years to go. So that could change to even more.
Oh my God, that's so many dishes for me to do. Well,
you won't be a mom the whole time. I mean, you won't be like a
that's a lot of dishes.
Functional. Well, I don't know though. You have 8 kids. I mean, shit, you're gonna probably have like 80 grandkids.
Yeah.
That's what the kids are. The kids are saying like Christmas is going to be 50 grandkids, and I'm going, we're not going to name them. I'm just going to number them. We'll do
Yeah, number 'em.
the binary system. One,
Yeah,
one,
go-
one, one, one,
yeah,
zero, zero,
do
zero.
their soul signature. Use their soul signature. Just all the numbers will be different at the end.
What's really cool about the way that passing away will occur is that at the point when it's just realized that there's no longer a use, that you're kind of like, I'm ready. It's kind of like, then there's a celebration, like something similar. The best thing we can compare it to, I suppose, is someone's going off to college. And it's like celebration, yay, good to see, bye. And that person then departs.
Yeah.
And it's a whole different thing. It's not like, we have this helpless expression or belief system in what death is right now. It's like it can just come and get you anytime, kind of thing, when that's not true, by the way. And also, it's changing more and more to be, it's a decision. And a lot of people probably listening right now will resonate with this. That in 2021, a lot of us, it was around the beginning, March-ish, when a lot of us were given consistently. It's kind of fun to compare notes. The choice: do you want to stick around longer? And like, hey, you want to keep doing this mission, kind of thing. And I had the same thing happen. I was surprised because I'd been operating with this. Like, when I'm done with this, I'm going on a vacation planet. I'm getting away from you, asshole. Like, and then when I was presented with the option, I didn't even hesitate. I'm like, yep.
This was
And
in March, April of 2021.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. And again, because it's not linear, you can like that. Let's say it's like March, April. That's a block of information, a reference point of information. But that was, I remember seeing it there. I remember feeling it there. I remember a lot of things happened there. And if you remember too, COVID had a second gear. It had coming out of the blocks. Everybody's like, what the hell, 2020, and then 2021, they went like into a higher gear. Like, and really started doing the mandate thing and really created this. So that would make sense too, because that's when they ramped it up, March, April, May, June, and really try to make it a contentious point, where anti-vaxxers, anti-maskers were like the devil people and shit, right? But so that makes a lot of sense. And okay, so what I was going to tie it into is some of this that I heard you talked about. Y'all both talked about it. Somebody else I was bringing up talked about it. Somebody else I talked to was talking about having been privy to it, which is, however you want to explain it, whoever's narrative you want to use. It sounds to me like, and again, take the linear out of it, because for example, somebody in March or April of 2021 may have said, no, I'm not staying, yet their body's still moving around and functioning and carrying on, but their soul has left the building, right? So I'm wondering, that feels like what I'm seeing out there. I just couldn't put it together until I heard the guy yesterday, and then your thoughts and my friend's thoughts, and so it's just another way to say something. Yeah. And again, if it's not linear, it makes all the sense in the world. And then you can go back and look at the linear thing and go, oh, well, is it possible that somebody could be a year or 2 year, the soul's left the body, not in a bad way, oh my God, they're a soulless person and they're horrible. No, I don't mean like that. I just mean that what we're seeing is the residual of the person's last incarnation. Yeah. You know what I mean?
It's like an echo, a shadow.
Yeah, like an echo, or like people that are like into ghost hunting talk about a residual ghost. Yeah. It isn't the actual fully embodied being. It's a like a
Imaginary friend.
yeah, like an imaginary friend. Yeah,
Yeah,
cool.
like a shell, like a
Yes.
shell,
Yeah.
just walking around.
Yes.
See, our kids call them pedestrians.
Now is
That's so
this
pedestrian.
so that, there was a yeah, there was a question there for both y'all. Like, and I'm asking sincerely because I don't think about this stuff. I'm always up in the doing whatever. But so is that the case? Is that the case? Are there people that are when I say people, I'm talking we're just talking the physical human body walking around, breathing, eating, and all that. Um, that the soul has left the building,
Yes.
and these were playmates and etc. 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 That's yeah. This is really like, whoa. Is this new? Like, why am I just getting this now? Because I'm actually thinking about the last 2 or 3 days, and I really really have seen this very loudly.
It doesn't
We
feel like they're
noticed that.
empty.
Oh,
Go ahead, Elsa.
I don't go to the shops a lot. I'm not a great shopper anymore. But when I do go, I notice when I go, especially if I've got the little girls with me, I'll walk through the shop, and again, that invisible feeling comes through that I'm not there. Which when it first happened to me, I used to feel lonely and sad. Not that I needed to be noticed, but I missed eye contact. I noticed as the years went on with the phones that the eye contact went, so I started feeling kind of lonely from it. And then you spoke of that date 2021, it all ramped up, and then it went into this like lull phase, like everyone was waiting for someone to come along or someone to do something, and then they started getting the shits because nothing was happening. And it's in this lull phase that when I was noticing when I was at the shop, I would walk through the shop, and the pedestrian or that feeling would come through where I felt like I was invisible. And then I would see someone make eye contact with me. And then I would see another person make eye contact. And then I felt that term law of attraction. So they see your soul or your higher self or my inner child or just my smile or just me being there, so that version of holding space, and I saw it ignite in them. So then they would pass me on the next dial and the next dial, and I've heard other people talk like, how do people cross your path at that moment? How come they seem to come when you're at that feeling, or when you're feeling great? They just seem to be there, and it's their inner calling overriding that all the programs.
Yeah.
And it's like they get drawn to you. It's this law of attraction, or just is it just electrics basically? They get drawn to your frequency, and this is what I'm feeling with the sun and the meteors. And Kiddo talks about more meteors coming, and it's because they're attracted to us. We're attracting it. We're not attracting danger. We're attracting them to light, and that's what the sun's doing. But we're also doing this with these people, and it'll be interesting to hear back from all the audience and yourselves, and hear if this is what you're noticing. You'll see a sparkle, or there's this really graphic film called Warm Bodies, and they're all zombies and they eat each other. It's really gross. But one zombie starts to see a flicker, like like on the water heater, and the flame lights up, and then it flicks off, and then it flicks up again, and it flicks off, and then it starts getting a little bit bigger. And then this zombie at the end of the film didn't realize, but he had triggered his best friend. and his best friend was a big talker in the zombie land. I don't know how that works. But anyway, he triggered other zombies. So at the end of the movie, all these zombies, they can't walk really good and they kind of can't speak really good, but they're coming around.
Yeah.
They're reining in. And this one zombie reined all the other zombies in, but he didn't tell them to follow him. He didn't say, you have to be me. They just liked what they saw.
Mm-hmm. Right.
So they just liked the light. It doesn't mean that you have to be beautiful or anything. They just liked that they liked the light in them, and then so they followed it. And this light being, this is what it's not all this I love you and this and that. It's just that they liked the fact that they were being them, so that excited them to be them. And so
Yeah.
see, Hollywood's good in the way we can describe these
Yeah.
funny scenes.
It's true. I mean, we ignite each other. The word is magnets. I've always given is magnets. It's like your core is a magnet, and when you vibrate in this place of love, when you're good, when you're feeling euphoric in some way, that you turn on that magnet. It's like it's like really strong, right? And then all of a sudden things come to you, and then the closer that they are into proximity of you, the more that you can assist them. They can accept certain things and decline, though if they choose to accept, then being in that same vicinity, like proximity to one another, you can assist an individual to physically alter their chemical makeup. Like, it's been done. Like, the thing about having what had Todd had mentioned earlier too is this walkout thing. I don't know if you guys noticed that all of a sudden in 2020, everybody was talking about walk-ins. No one ever talked about walk-ins. Like, walk-ins weren't even a topic. And then all of a sudden, everybody was doing these tests of whether or not they were a walk-in and everything. And it felt like, and I was just observing it, going, why is this now all of a sudden the thing that people are talking about? And then people started to walk out. And I think that was a one means of assisting people to realize that was an option. You know, you get so overwhelmed and inundated by everything that's happening, and some, I think, energies didn't even realize that there was an option to be made, a choice to be made that could be made. And so the understanding I have for it is that there is a frequency assisting the continuation of this of the individuals until they're done, and the expiration or whatever is very quick. It happens within sometimes a few weeks or even a few years after this has moved, like the musical chairs that it became. And there needs to be enough time for individuals to choose to naturally part ways, so there isn't tragedy. You know, I feel like that's why. I don't know if that's true or not. That's just how it feels to me. And then just to add really quickly to the sun thing, we're also going to have a lot more of this, and that there is no reason to be alarmed. Just like Elsa said, this isn't a place to be. There's nothing to be afraid of. That we are here. It's going to be cool. It's an awesome thing. However, we're definitely starting a new world, and so there's no real end because we're having a new beginning happening immediately with it. And just to be clear about that, sometimes it's so easy to go into a place of fear. So there's no reason to be in fear. It's beautiful.
Yeah, and this thing, I think I shared some of this with you about my mother. So my mother had, I'm going to go ahead and talk about it, even though we're on social media. My mother got the jab, and we all know, by the way, when they got the jab, they can certainly offset it. And there's even scientific stuff coming out from Dr. McCullough as far as, converting the spike proteins and all this. But she got the jab, a couple of boosters. She ends up getting something in her blood vessels that we all know has shown up in mortuaries. There's been a movie put out about it and documentary, and there's just, we know. It's these long plastic looking worms. The doctor told her that she should have died. As soon as they found it, they opened her up, 83 years old at the time. She walks out of surgery 3 days later, has no pain at all, and was driving within just a few days. With the where they cut you open, they cut your breastplate open. So I was conveying to her, I was coming off our conversation, the one that we had, the three of us last night, that because I was getting more and more stuff throughout the night. So yesterday was whatever, I don't even know. It was just huge. But she chose to stay. So she was one of those that chose to stay.
Yeah.
To stay for what? To stay to see this thing through. Mm-hmm. So, you have somebody who was in the, was in the sights of the intentions. There were certain target groups and the intentions of that, which we divinely orchestrated. We call it COVID and everything that comes from it. She transformed that threat, if you will. She also healed like only a higher aspect could heal a body, right? And then she has, after talking to her last night, she has significant intel that she shared with me. Okay? So one of the things that happened a few days ago, when we were driving home from Corpus, she says to me, when I had the open heart surgery, something changed. I'm like, What do you mean? She said, well, when I woke up, I was different. I had a different perspective. I wasn't holding on to all the bullshit. And so anyway, I brought that up back, or came back in last night. And she had, we understand this, she had, you could, for all intents and purposes, a walk-in. A higher aspect came in, a higher aspect of her that's more light body-ish than it is corporal, right? So you have this person that, to me, like going through this whole thing yesterday, you have this, so she has all these different elements of what's happening, right? She's also having intense ascension symptoms. Well, my daughter, 2 states away, her offspring, her grandchild, is going to the hospital with heart palpitations, and we know what this is, right? So it's really interesting. But to sum it up, she was telling me the things that she was getting. I know I'm here to find out more about myself, about who I am. The strangest things are happening. I have all these friends. They're still my friends, but I don't want to talk to them anymore. I don't have it. She's saying the same thing that we're talking about all these months. And this is just in a conversation last night for 20 minutes. She's telling me that she knows something's going on.
Yeah.
And belief systems are dropping. And here's a crazy thing. She even said, like, she's packed up everything. I've helped her on the end of, getting out of her house, and she's going to sell it. So she's living in an independent living place, and she's set up. This is something that she was happy to get to in her own right, and got there on her own. because she was worried about how do you survive if you're old. You know what I mean? In this country, because of the cost of nursing homes, etc., etc. So she tells me last night, and every time I think about the house, I just get this kind of thing, like she's not motivated. It's not a priority. It should be a priority to sell this house, get her equity out, and be comfortable. But she's like, doesn't even think about it. She's just like going. It just makes me feel like, you know, I don't even want to. So it was remarkable, because I called her specifically to tell her, I've got some information for you. And by sharing that information with her, she just opened up totally.
Yeah.
And I'm going, okay, you know. So my thought was, or my understanding was, this is one person, happens to be my mother in this life, that is 84 years old, that had open heart surgery a year ago. Right. And walked out without any pain pills, with no pain at all, 3 days later. Like, how the fuck does that happen, number one? And then she actually gets a call 10 days ago that she needs to go to see this kidney doctor. Why am I going to see the kidney doctor? Oh, because a year ago when you had open heart surgery, we found out your kidneys are failing. Yeah. And she wasn't freaked out about that. She was going, why would you wait a year to tell me? So she's seeing through and experiencing the fuckery and the distortion. Yeah. And again, the quantum aspect of it, right? The quantum aspect. She is literally like a sponge picking up stuff as if she'd been on this road for 10, 12 years like we have. Right?
Right.
And yeah, so I just like that just really, it really brought a lot of things to light. And so I look at this person who happens to be my mother, but it could be anybody. She's made a choice to stick around. I would not be surprised at all if she's here for several hundred more years.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So this is the ants. This is the ant movie. This is us. This is us. Alignment. Being alignment. This is us. This is what ants like doing. They like walking in lines together. They like feeling each other's and what do? Like we've talked about this, that, you know, that ant brings this huge crumb. Because I've got to get this back to the nest, you know, and he's like, well, you can't carry that, it's way too big, it's, you know, 10 times, 50 times your size. Oh, it's all right, it's a crumb, I've got to take it. He can do it. He can do it because he doesn't believe he can't. And this is your mother. She believes she can. She's like, what's with the kidney? You know, I shouldn't be here. I was told I had a brain tumor at 17 or 18. My whole family believed I had a brain tumor. Everyone would cry when they see me. I don't have a brain tumor. They think I have a brain tumor. I don't have a brain tumor. I'm fine. Oh, yeah. No, they said you had a brain tumor. No, they said they believe I have a brain tumor with all their beliefs, not my beliefs. I don't have a brain tumor. I know who I am.
Right.
But then I was selfish because you're not looking after yourself, because you're not going to play their game. But I don't want to play their game. So now I become like a kid. I don't want to play their game. I don't want to. And this is this, you know, Pamela and I have talked about this, being playful it's a serious matter. Because it affects us in ways of our own health, and being playful and being like Todd's mother, and now she comes from, you know, a place of understanding, and she's seen herself heal. She doesn't need someone to tell her about her kidney. She knows who her kidney is. But if you want to give someone the power of your kidney, well, that's a different experience. And, you know, I've had those experiences as well. And I don't want to play with them anymore. I don't want to play.
Right,
I didn't want to play back then. I don't want to play now. I would much rather talk about this.
right.
Hmm.
I totally agree. Like, I mean, it's choice. You can decide. I was diagnosed with a terminal illness. I should have been dead 10 years ago, apparently, based on having systemic scleroderma. And all of us have these stories is the point, right? Because and when we get to this crossroads, we either make a decision to we get to choose. You get to choose. It's a choose your own adventure. You get to choose what life experience you have. Do you want to play out this storyline, or do you want to release it? And I am not giving anyone any kind of medical advice when I say this, though. There's a lot of experience across the board of people consistently having the same symptoms. And until we started to talk about it in this platform where like using the internet to communicate, I had no idea that it was a global phenomenon that is consistent. Some of the ascension symptoms have probably to do with people who have taken other things into their body. I personally, for me, my own personal choice, did not engage in taking getting the jab. I didn't do it personally, and so that's like a control, right? Because I know I didn't do that, and people having gotten it and not gotten it are all having the same symptoms as me. And so I'm showing this because the having gotten it will give you the additional choice to whether you not want to stick around, kind of stuff. And the answer I got when I asked this question the answer was broad. They answered back about all toxins taken into the physical form. They weren't being specific like I was, and that all things can be transmuted. It's giving you more choice, more options, for you get to decide what that's going to be like, and so I do occasionally still go see a doctor personally. I do. I mean, like every year or so, and they always say I'm healthier than I ever have been, and sometimes I'll have a complaint and I want to be sure everything's good, and they'll look at me like I'm looking for drugs, even though I never filled their prescriptions, and they say that we're healthy, and we don't need someone to tell us we're healthy to know inside that you're in alignment. And the need to have somebody, an intermediary, tell you what the truth is goes into religion, goes into spirituality, goes everywhere, where they've been saying that someone else has to tell you outside of yourself what the truth is, when you know the truth, every one of you that are listening right now, all of us.
Mm-hmm.
It's channeled directly to you.
Mm-hmm.
It's your voice in your head.
Yeah.
I love how, so you have all the birds on the branch, and then one bird flies off, and the other birds stay there, and then another one flies the other direction, and then they might fly around together, and then they all land on different branches. But you never ever see them go, no, you shouldn't be on that branch, you have to be over here. Or you're too close, I'm going to peck you. There's that, given space to each other. But there's never, you shouldn't have flown yet. You flew too soon. And it's interesting because the animals, like Todd said, they just be. Like Pamela said, they just be. They wake up. They don't carry all the goop from the day before, or they don't have all the goop for the future. They just be for today. And if you can take that into your day, it might just ease up a little bit for you, because if you're getting involved in all the drama, it's exhausting. It really is exhausting. So if you can just take a sidestep and go, what is really going on here?
Mm-hmm.
Am I really involved in this, or am I just making myself involved in it?
Right.
And you just go, I'm not. I'm just watching it. And this is what's happening around the world.
Yeah.
And it's showing up.
Yeah, there's no difference between, and I'm not saying that it was or it wasn't, because it's all our divine orchestration, but There's no difference between, let's say, an ill-intended vaccine and a program that we carry. Like whatever that program is. Pedophilia, narcissism, whatever. Every one of these is an impression made upon us through suggestion of
Right.
a physical representation or a non-physical representation and everything in between. If you look at the whole COVID thing, it's very easy to see the energy. It's not the narrative of, oh my God, they're trying to kill us. Think about it. People said, go do this. Put a mask on. Or even, everybody's in danger. What's the difference between that and somebody telling an 83, 84-year-old lady from a test a year ago that, hey, your kidney's failing?
Right.
Like, that, if you use that, that's a micro example, but with the other thing I was talking about, people, how many people didn't even think about it?
Yeah.
I'm talking to a young man I have a lot of respect for 2 nights ago, and listened to him about Ukraine. And I normally don't say anything, but I couldn't help myself because he's buying the mainstream media hook, line, and sinker.
Mm.
And then I, just said, oh, let me get off of that. And then I started hearing about Hawaii. And I said, well, those are direct energy weapons. Oh, how do you know that? I said, well, look at these pictures. Now, how in the hell can all these mansions be perfectly protected and the burn line comes right up to the back of them? Oh, well, it's probably got to do with construction standards.
Mm-hmm.
And talk about cognitive dissonance. So I think that what you were saying earlier about these things have to be seen. And I think that we all had levels and levels and levels of cognitive dissonance.
Mm-hmm.
And that's one way to examine, in retrospect or introspect, the peeling of the onion.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, we do this in relationships. We do this with our children. We do this with our jobs, with our nasty boss who, if I'm a woman and he's hitting on me every day and it's fucking inappropriate, but I'm got 2 kids at the house and I don't really, and so you start to make excuses that make no fucking sense, that insult your intelligence, and your soul's going, fuck this shit. And that's those giants waking up that started this party, and we were the ripples and we were them, so they're saying, we're waking up. Oh my God, we remember who we are. We're extracting from this creation, this hologram, this realm. And what is a realm but reality? Reality specific to that realm.
Yeah.
That's what that is. That means all the rules apply of this realm are within this reality, not outside of the construct. We just forgot that we come from outside of the construct. So these giants that people are seeing in the records of their DNA, of our DNA, they're describing it many different ways. Athena, you, the 2 of you. But the reality is, that's the part of us that's waking up and saying enough is enough is enough. Now, we've had little figments of it, little parts of it, pieces, aspects of it, but now this is the big one. And that's what you were saying so humorously. But it is. It's like and you see it with people. You see it in a lot of the projection recently in the light worker circles. These accusations of false light in other people. Now, if you examine other projections, you'll see that it's the same thing. They may not be calling me false. I got a really nice message today from a Soology follower or member or community person, whatever you want to call it, these words. just blowing me out of the fucking water. but
Bless you.
A clearing.
yeah, no kidding.
You
Just
okay?
blow me out of the water. But it obviously wasn't about me, right? It was about an aspect of them that is an identity born in this realm, that this realm applies to. But this person, and I've probably known her 2-3 years, this person, instead of, well, we've all been there, right? We've all been there. Every one of us have been there. We're putting it off on something external because it can't be me. I can't be wrong, right? So this is the part where these giants, like the awakening of the giants, the ancient ones that y'all are talking about, Athena's talking about, this is the part of our consciousness that to me reflects full embodiment. And that's why the gauntlets are being thrown down, and we're not saying, hey, let's get the fuck out of here, beam me up. We're not saying that. We're saying, you know what? We came here to experience something,
Right.
and by God, we're not leaving until we do.
Yeah.
So we screwed the pooch. We had all these dry runs, in millions and billions of these dry runs, but because we're such badasses, and because of what we are, we're able to collapse these timelines in a small little millisecond in universal time, and now we're going to step into Eden, the Eden that we created, you know.
Yes. Exactly.
The chosen ones, the choice ones. One,
Right.
one, 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 one. The choice ones. So, Earth, we believe, our family believe, it continually grows. So, more plasma dust melts on us, and more comet. Kiddo says more comets are coming, and I know she's right. They're more. So Earth grows more. So we don't become less.
Right.
We become more.
Right.
And this is creation. This is creation. And we flip the ship. So we're collecting now this and that, this and that, and whatever. I don't know. I have no idea what is to unfold, but I'm okay with the more coming. Because if I can handle this, I can handle the next one, and I can handle the next moment. I'm not projecting too far forward. I'm just projecting now. With that solar flare, I'll deal with that one first.
Yeah.
Okay. Relax, breathe. I'm still here. I'm okay. They're okay. All right. Next solar flare, bang. and we keep ascending. And we're okay with it. And we have flipped the ship, and we are doing it. And these stories that all of you have shared is inspiring because it's actually working. This is working. Last year when I came out, there was not much ET stuff in the news, but now our kids are like, oh yeah, so what? Who cares anymore? They don't care. They don't care. You can bring out your whole ET thing, but we don't. It's like, did you hear that new song? Like, that's what they're like. It's ET news, or did you see that new outfit that I got on Depop or something? It's no big deal. It's no biggie. That's what they say. It's no biggie now.
Oh my God.
And this is the fear and doubt. This is working. It
Exactly.
works. This is working. This new way works. And it's just now we practice it more.
And know the difference between the two. And what is it? How you know the difference? What's it feel like? Like, that's really all you need. Like, we rely way too much on using your brain and your logic to do any of this shit when it's not. That's the dead weight. It's meant to be a filter, your brain. It's not meant to be a container, a library, a place where you keep things.
That's
storage.
right. That's right. That's so cool that you said that. I was just looking at my writings last night because I was talking about that. And it was something like, it was something like, along the lines of trying to figure things out. Oh, preconceived notions are no longer a choice. Like, you know how certain things are falling away. Like, the word forgiveness will no longer even be applicable. It won't even be part of reality. But preconceived notions, like, oh, well, figuring this shit out. Well, I know I got this figured out, so we're about to walk into this situation, and here's the rules, here's the parameters, here's the borders, here's the absolute. Well, there is no absolute. Elsa's right. We continue to grow and expand, not just here, but all the way around. And this is the paradox, because the paradox becomes the 0 point, and both are true. So you have this thing. Oh well, that's not part of me anymore. I'm walking away from that. But the reality is, every single thing that we took on is us. Every time I was a narcissist, every time I was a misogynist, every time I was whatever, I still have to own that. And it's the separation of self that occurs through these identities we've created that are not ourselves, that require the unification in order for us to have oneness with each other. So it's a wild, crazy paradox, but it is an all or nothing proposition. It starts with ourselves, which means too, like you were saying, I'm seeing people that are me. Well, that's probably harder to accept than the ones that are furthest away from you and oneness. Like, oh yeah, I'm one with you. It's all that up close interaction. What looks close is far, what looks far is close. It's all that up close interaction. The mirror thing is becoming huge.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I know when you talked to me earlier about I'm seeing me, I knew exactly, like looking at you, I knew exactly what you were talking about, because I was experiencing the same thing. And more clarity came in the exchange of information or code. And the same goes with Elsa. And I know it because I observe it also between the two of you.
Mm-hmm.
I see it like day one,
Yeah.
because we all have other collaborators, and there are strong elements there. But like, I look at y'all and I'm like, well, is her name Elsa and her name Pamela, or is her name Pamela and her name Elsa, right? Like, I don't even. So there's something to be said for that. I'm gonna have to go because I have to do another show, but I guess we're gonna be doing something on a regular basis. I know you guys are, and we'll figure that out and get it out publicly.
Great.
But thank you both so much for showing up and for being open to discuss things that. Some of the things that we want to keep private. But if you got anything going out the door, just go right ahead.
Thank you. This was fun. That's all.
Thank you.
I love you.
Thanks for making me smile, guys. Thank you.
Oh, that's it. Okay. Love you guys. I'll be in touch.